Morning, everybody. So I wanted to take a moment and do a good stretch, more so for like relaxation and kind of just loosening up versus flexibility. I mean, we'll still work a bit of flexibility, but I just wanted us to be able to relax and just kind of have like a sigh of relief at the end. So you can use your chair or your mat. I'm going to start in my chair and work my way down to the floor, so feel free to follow me and do that as well if you'd like. So I'm just going to sit towards the edge of my chair, feet flat on the ground, roll my shoulders back, and then just take a moment to take a few deep breaths. Soften the belly as you inhale. Pull the belly in as you exhale. Soften as you inhale. And then brace as you exhale. Soften. And then brace. Now feel free to hold your brace here if you'd like. You can loosen up just a little bit, so you're not like extremely tight. But what we want to focus on with our posture and our core is making sure we're not causing any discomfort here in our low back as we're seated doing these stretches. So we're going to start with our head. If this doesn't feel great for you, then just take a moment to continue to breathe. I'm just going to tilt my head to the side. If you need a little extra, bring your hands down and flex. You should feel this pulling down in your shoulders as well as on the side of your neck. Carefully release that. Let's do the other side. If you need that bit of extra, flex your hands. Release that. Let's take a moment to do some half circles. Remember, you can do all of this at your own pace. So if you feel you need to do a couple extra of something or a little less, it's perfectly fine. And let's bring our heads back to center when we're ready. Just take a moment, wiggle our fingers, rotate our wrists, let our arms hang long, and let's just roll those shoulders back. And let's go forward. Let's inhale one arm up. Reach here. Feel free to take a side bend. And down. Let's do the other way. Might feel a little bit of popping here. As long as you're not feeling any sort of discomfort or pain, you're all right. Just our muscles and ligaments moving. Let's bring both arms up. And as we exhale, cactus them down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale up and cactus down. All right, let's roll our shoulders again. Bit of a wiggle. So we're gonna go into a chest stretch. So you can think of bringing your shoulder blades back to touch. If you like, you can press your arms back if it makes it easier for you to do. You then might feel a bit of a stretch through your biceps. Let's bring our arms to a T. Palms are facing front. Bring our arms back. Feel that stretch in the arms as well. Let's bring them forward and reach. Release that. Let's do that one more time. Roll our shoulders back and down. Bring our shoulder blades back if they're trying to touch. I'll turn from the side so you can see what it looks like. Just like that. You can bring your arms back, palms towards the wall or the back of the room. And let's flip them, come up into a T, you can still press back. And then bring the arms forward, palms facing down. Release that. Let's inhale both arms up. And cactus the arms down. Take a minute to roll. We're gonna go into cat and cow. So feel free to stay seated here or come down to the floor if you're ready. So sit up nice and tall. Shoulders are back and down. Feet are flat if you're seated. If you're on the ground, you can be on all fours. Make sure your hands are under your shoulders. Knees, thighs, and hips are in line. Let's inhale. Reach the chest to the sky. Belly softens. Exhale. We round and bring our chin to our chest. Inhale. Exhale. Feel free to go at your own pace here. Do one or two more here. If you'd like, feel free to just do some circles or just focus on breathing. Go the other way. Let's roll that out. Let's bring both arms up. Cross one arm over your chest. Release. Other side. Now that we've created some movement in our spines, let's bring both arms up. Feel free to clasp together. And let's arch to one side. And then the other. Back to center. And flip your hands back this way and bring them down. Release that. Take a moment and shake everything out. So I'm going to come down to the floor for a couple more cat and cows, but feel free to stay here in your chair. And then from there, we'll go into like a child's pose, do some stretches for our legs. All right. Inhale, belly softens, chest reaches towards the sky. Exhale, then round. Inhale, exhale. Now if you're on your mat, feel free to sit back in child's pose. You can have a more narrow or a more wide child's pose. It's up to you. You can reach your arms forward. If you like and you have a narrow stance, feel free to bring both arms to the side. Palms facing up. If you're seated in your chair, feel free to just breathe, or you can bring one knee up and hold at a time. Couple more breaths here. Carefully release that. We're all going to come into a seated position, comfortable seated position. If you're sitting in your chair, feel free to scooch a little further back in your chair. We're just going to bring one leg out and the other in. And just hold here for a moment. Make sure you're grabbing more towards your shin. Don't grab on top of your knee. Release that. Let's do the other side. Just sitting up nice and tall, just breathing here. All right, so we're gonna go into a twist. If you are seated in your chair, scooch towards the edge of your chair with feet flat on the ground so that you can use your chair to twist back and forth. If you're here on the ground with me, feel free to come into whichever twist is going to be comfortable for you. So if you'd prefer to just be here for the moment and twist, that's totally fine. If you're into Pilates or yoga and you want to cross a leg or cross both, however your body is feeling today is what you want to do. If you're feeling warm enough, like you've done other exercises today, and you want to go into a full twist, that's totally up to you. I think today, for now, I'm just going to bring both feet flat on the floor. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to place my left hand back and just gently twist to the left. Make sure you're breathing here. Okay, to release, I'm going to grab under my thigh and rotate back. Sit up nice and tall. I'm going to release my right hand and twist. Make sure that you're bracing here, that your core is engaged. We want to protect our low back. All right, I'm going to grab under my thigh and come back to the front. All right, let's stretch those legs out. Flex, and then we'll point and flex and point. All right, let's bring one leg in. If you're seated in your chair, feel free to just straighten out one leg, and the other one is going to stay with your foot flat on the ground. You can flex or point here, and we're just going to hinge here at the waist. So don't curve. Sit up nice and tall and hinge, and then reach towards your foot. So we're focusing here on stretching our back and our side body. So don't feel like you necessarily need to stretch far enough to come all the way down to reach your knee. If you can, that's totally great. If not, you should feel the stretch through here, maybe in here, and a little bit through our hamstring and our calves. Make sure you're breathing here. The more you breathe, the easier the stretch. If you're holding your breath, you hold the tension in your body, and your muscles are already kind of tense because they're trying to stretch or maybe move in a way they don't usually move. So by breathing, not only does it bring oxygen throughout our body, but it helps us to relax. So it helps our muscles to relax as well. Let's release that. Take a little wiggle. And let's bring the other leg in. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to hinge. And feel free to walk your hands down or just reach, but just make sure you're hinging and not rounding. Hinge. You'll notice, like me, one side is a lot easier than the other. And carefully release that. Now that we've stretched our backs and our side bodies, we're going to move into stretching our hips here, our side glute. So if you're seated, still stay forward in your chair. You can straighten one leg out and cross here at the ankle or a little further up whichever is more comfortable for you. You can also have your foot flat on the ground, kind of like we're going to do. Feel free, if this is fine for you here on the floor, stay here. Otherwise, bring that foot up and stretch. Feel free to kind of move a little side to side if that's within your practice. Don't do anything that will cause any injury, any discomfort. Release that. Let's do the other side. So remember, if you're seated in your chair, you can be here. You can come further up. Just make sure you're not resting your foot on your knee, or you can come in to more of an alignment with us and have that foot bent. And just like with our hinge forward here, you'll probably feel one side is easier than the other. For me, this side is the tighter side in my hip, so not as comfortable as the other side. Okay, and let's release that carefully. Might hear some popping like me. Let's rotate our wrists and our feet. I'll slide back so you can see. Whether you're seated or on the floor, bring your heels to touch the ground. We're just going to turn our feet out and in. You can be flexed here. You can be pointed. It'll feel a little different. You'll feel it in different areas of your leg, whether you're flexed versus pointed. Either way, sit up nice and tall. We don't want to be curved back. Sitting up tall, shoulders are down. Let's point one and flex the other and switch. All right. So, those of us on the floor, we're going to migrate to laying down on our backs. If you're in your chair, just sit up nice and tall. So feel free to hold here and lower yourself, or just slowly, whatever is more comfortable for you and will not cause you to injure yourself. And let's bring our feet here and just take a moment to breathe. Now, take one leg and straighten it out, whether you're seated in your chair or on the floor. Bring the other knee up towards your chest. Flex this foot to protect our knee here. If you'd like, and it's within your practice, you can roll over. Ah, nice pop. So look opposite. Well, not opposite, but if your left leg is the one that's crossed over, you're going to look to your left. That's kind of like a twist. If you would like to do this and this is uncomfortable, feel free to bend that lower leg and come more here. Up to you. If you're seated in your chair, just continue to hold your knee towards your chest. Bring that knee back in carefully. Bring both knees in if you're on the ground. Bring both feet down if you're in your chair. Let's do the opposite side. We'll bring your knee into your chest. Feel free to just hold here. And if you'd like, rotate across. Carefully bring that knee back in. If you're on the ground, bring both knees into your chest. If you're seated in your chair, both feet are flat on the floor. All right. If you're seated in your chair, you can still do this. It'll just be slightly different. You'll just tense everything and then relax. Here, we're going to tense in our ball here. Inhale, exhale, tense a little more, and then exhale, let everything go. Chair's in the way. And we're just going to breathe here for a moment. If any part of your body speaks to you, feel free to give that part a little bit of attention. So like if your right ankle is like, hello, I'm here. Feel free to just roll that ankle for a moment and then go back to your breathing. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. There's no rush to get up. But when you're ready to get up, if you are on the ground, carefully start to bring your legs in and let them drop to one side. I generally like to let my legs drop to the right. Continue with my roll and carefully sit up. Like I said, feel free to stay down if you'd like. There is no rush here. And then when you're ready, you can go on about your day. So I hope that little relaxation was as beneficial for you as it was for me. I feel like I needed that this week. So there's no class Monday because it's a holiday. So feel free to look through our kind of video library that we've got going on and do a previous video or maybe even this stretch again. And so when we do meet back on, I believe it's the 22nd, we're going to do a ballet kind of Pilates inspired class. So I hope you guys have a peaceful rest of your weekend. If you're in a snowy part of the country, be safe if you have to go anywhere out in the snow and the ice, and I'll see you all on the 22nd. Have a great day, guys.